Hello, friend. My name is Cassandra, and today I am going to continue playing for you Autumn's Journey by Apple Cider. Now, last time we got the job for escorting a carriage with a merchant in it who had something in a long box, but we don't know what. Orally assumed it was a sword or something. Um, and then we got ambushed. So we're in the middle of a battle, and hopefully we will survive it. I think we have a couple more enemies to go, so let's see if we win. His eyes darted over his fallen comrades, and he slowly backed away. I pointed my sword at him, and he hastily disappeared into the forest, leaving his partners behind. Perfect timing, since I felt my focus spell wear off. Coward. A high-pitched scream came from the carriage, and I saw that the door was open. One of the armed men was escaping with the box. No! Not while I'm around. He slammed the ground with his fist, causing the whole place to shake. I knelt down, covering my head, as my sword clattered harmlessly onto the soil. My knees felt like they'd liquefied, and I had to use one hand to support myself. I couldn't move, and each shock only reinforced my terror. Kerr, cease this at once. Did Ilmari notice I was scared? The man tripped from the jolts, and the box flew open out of his grip. It hit the rocky terrain with a crash, causing the latch to open. The box flew out of his grip, and then it opened. Okay. I forced myself to stand up, but was unnerved from the tremors. Every step felt wobbly. You would not do well on boats, darling. Kerr focused on the almost thief, who also disappeared into the woods. By the time I got into the fallen objects, Ilmari was already scooping the items back into their coffer. I saw the few feathers sticking out. Perplexed by the wares, I reached out for the box, but Ilmari slammed it shut, his face pale. Ilmari? Phew, closed it. It would have been unfortunate if it got damaged. It was intact? Yeah, nothing appears broken. What was it? If it had feathers, maybe it was from one of the sky dragons? Kerr chased off the remaining conscious opponents, and I carefully stepped around the supine ones. A few groans were emitted, but they probably wouldn't be up for a while. Ilmari handed the box to me as if he was eager to get rid of it. Thanks, I'll return this to Mr. Ormond. I approached the vehicle and placed the box on the seat. The frightened merchant glanced up warily. We chased them off, whoever they were. He clutched the coffer, cradling it on his lap. Did you see what was inside? No, but I'm sure that the contents are safe. I closed the door and promptly waved at the coachman to resume driving. I sheathed my sword, then rubbed my throbbing left hand, regretting my rash display before. Then again, it wasn't like I had time to explain a punch, and Kerr caught on quickly. As we walked, I could feel the adrenaline rush leave me and fatigue creep up. I didn't think I'd do something like that so soon. I looked up to gauge the boys' expressions to see how they were faring. Kerr was positively beaming. Every strut screamed of his triumph. Ilmari had become oddly quiet, and he appeared lost in thought. Let's check on Ilmari, because I'm worried about whatever he saw. Also, I like Ilmari, okay? We're probably gonna end up with him just because I like Ilmari. I mean, I like her too, but yeah. I have a thing for scholarly boys? I don't know. I don't really have a thing for anybody. Yay, sexuality. But anyway, Ilmari still ruminated, and I paused until he caught up. Are you okay? You haven't looked well since the fight. Is it something you're not used to? It's not that. He fidgeted and rubbed his upper arms as he contemplated something. You can talk to me if you want to. It's just, Orly, do you know what the merchant is carrying with him? No, I don't. I admit I should have asked, but I was too focused on getting to Oliver. So you don't know. No. The dark cloud of ambivalence that clung to him vanished instantly, and he sighed in relief. Ah, I see. Ilmari, what is it? And don't say it's nothing. When people say it's nothing, that means it's something. I looked at him beseechingly, and he squirmed under my stare. I could tell he wrestled with his answer. You're right. This is something that's nagging at me, but I don't want to be jumping to conclusions at this point. Can I think about it and tell you later? I don't want to hide things, but I don't want to openly speculate unless I'm certain. Is that acceptable? It is. Thank you for not being completely evasive. But I do want to be told eventually. Should I demand to see what's inside the box? Let's just focus on the task at hand. Ah, you're right. You were ordered to supervise Kerr. We shouldn't sidetrack. Then let's get this carriage safely to Oliver and get paid. Pay. Money that is given for goods received, services provided, or work done. You sure learned quickly, and for a while I was worried. I promise I won't be trouble. I want to be useful. Thanks, Ilmari. I leaned in and lowered my voice to a whisper. There's no one else following us right now, right? We're safe. I'll be sure to tell you from now on if I hear something out of the ordinary. Phew, then onward it is. In a few days we would arrive in Oliver. I adjusted my bag and thought about the letter, eager to reach the guild. What is it, though? Chapter 5. I want to be a knight. Halt. State your business. Cargo delivery from Merchant Ventures. I half expected some questioning, but the name carried enough weight that the guard simply nodded and ordered the gate to be raised. While that happened, I approached the client, who gave me a small pouch of coins, as per our agreement. I grinned and accepted the payment, resisting the urge to check. Was it rude if you counted money in front of your client? The heaviness seemed appropriate as my fingers gripped the bag. Thank you, and I'm glad you arrived safely. Take care! As the carriage rolled away, I noticed Kerr and Ilmari standing around gawking at the thick city walls. Well, shall we get going? They broke out of their trance. Ilmari's eyes shone radiantly, while Kerr tried to hide his stupefaction. Please try to stay with me. No wandering off. I tucked the pouch into my belt, and they quietly followed, soaking in the sights as we entered the city. We strolled easily through the wide streets, which bustled with many carts and carriages passing by. Eventually, the crowds thickened, forcing us to slow down. I saw the two dragons getting a few curious stares, but everyone seemed too busy with their own schedules to pay any real attention. No, there were no more than passing glances. If it was more unusual, I'm sure people would have stopped and commented. It was then I spotted one person with ears similar to Kerr's, so it was true that there were more dragonkind here. At the plaza, there was a large platform with carnival treats on display. A fire eater launched a flame, and the crowd awed and applauded accordingly. Wait, I didn't know heavenkind could breathe fire. What is this trickery? How does it work? Can anyone learn it? It's an illusion? It only appears like that because he extinguishes it at the right time. Come on, this way. Poor Kerr. As we zigzagged, Ilmari abruptly stopped, and I nearly bumped into him. Ilmari? He had found a glass-blowing shop with an open front, and one of the artists was molding a transparent blue bubble through a blow tube. Suspended all around the store were glass-blown ornaments. Below, rainbow vases sparkled in the sunlight. That's phenomenal! How are they able to create something so beautiful? There's so many colors! He took a step forward, but I quickly pulled on his braid, then on Kerr's hair, because he was dawdling towards a pastry shop. We'll never get to Argent Valère Guild at this rate. Come on. But I want to see. They have apple tarts. We can check the glass shop later, and Kerr, you'll get cavities if you keep eating those. Enough dilly-dallying. We have somewhere to go, and I want to get there now. I released them both after they promised that they wouldn't run off, and I made sure they stayed close. Ooh, pretty. I mean, it's all pretty, but ooh, pretty. Look at the tree! I like that shade of tree. Yes. Anyway, fortunately, the guild was located in a quieter part of town, between the church and the public gardens. Kerr looked quizzically at the headquarters, which proudly displayed an embossed sign. "This doesn't look like an altar." Sorry, this is just a small side trip, I promise." I clapped my hands together and gave a little bow, closing one eye. "Something I really need to do first. I'd love to have you come in with me, but they probably don't allow just anyone. So, can you two please not wander off? I'll treat you to all of the glass shop and apple tarts you want after." "Promise." "Fine." I sighed, but it was relieved that at least one of them was obedient. "Besides, even if there are dragonkind here, you might attract too much attention. And I won't be there to protect you if something bad happens." "Don't worry about us. We'll be over there." He pointed to the garden, which consisted of shady trees and benches scattered around pretty flower beds. "Thank you." "Ooh, pretty." It looks kind of like a church, almost, but without pews. I fished out the letter and entered the building. Inside, everything seemed more normal than I had anticipated. It reminded me of a lobby of an inn or a shop. There was a large board with various scribbled reports pinned to the cork. A few knights with authentic-looking badges walked by, giving me only a passing glance. I approached who I assumed was the receptionist. This is Argent Valere headquarters, right?" "Right." "I have a letter advocating me for the title of knight. Do you simply join if you fulfill some requirements, or how does this work?" "First, what academy did you graduate from?" I was homeschooled." She shook her head, and I started to get anxious. I pushed the letter onto the counter. "At least read this. Lady Bayard." "Lady Bayard?" Yeah, I'm her daughter. She personally trained me so I could officially join the Knights and serve under the Sun and Moon Council." She ripped open the letter and read it eagerly, like it was addressed to a fan from an admired celebrity. Her eyes darted down, and she looked up with a peculiar expression. "Her credentials and titles are longer than—" "I know. You must have lots of potential if you're Bayard's daughter. Sadly, we no longer accept people who solely are trained under one person." "What?" She flashed an apologetic smile. "I'm sorry, so sorry, but rules are rules, and as much as I admire your mother, new protocols have been recently implemented, and they are to be followed. If you want, I could look for openings in the Oliver Knight Academy." Her voice droned on, but I could no longer register anything. I only stood there numbly and nodded. All my training, for nothing? This couldn't be. Oops. Sorry. "Aurelie, are you okay?" I was not sure what happened, but I had somehow managed to make my way to one of the benches outside. I was curled up with my head nestled in my knees, not responding to any of Ilmari's concerns. "So, did it work out?" "Kerr!" "What? I'm just asking if it worked out." "Obviously not." Embarrassed and teary-eyed, I glanced up to see what the other two were doing. Ilmari hovered around me fretfully, like he was trying to figure out how to shoo a spider out of a kitchen. Kerr, on the other hand, gave me a stern look that said he relegated me to the status of dirt under his shoe. And I didn't care. It's over. All over. What does one do to reassure a heavenkind? They usually take him or her out to a pub so they can drown in their sorrows. What's a pub? Is that a type of lake? I don't want anyone to drown. My chest and shoulders shuddered from a half-hiccup sob and a laugh. Oh, those two. I sat up and wiped my eyes. I'm fine. It'll take a while to recover, that's all. As long as you can take me to the next altar, I'm good. I scowled and shot up, staring at him in the eye. I wanted to become a knight so I could help you better. I still have no idea what those are, and I don't care. Don't care? You already delayed us enough with your fiasco. And you're the one who kept telling us to not wander off. Hey, rocks for brains. A precious little girl's dreams just sort of shattered into a million pieces here. Excuse me if I don't feel like, guiding you to the altar right now. Pho, this is pathetic. I bet I could find someone else who would be, more willing to... Quiet, both of you. There was a ferocious snarl at the end of Ilmari's outburst, and we immediately stopped arguing. I blinked blankly, and then sat back down on the bench, surprised that Ilmari could express such ire if he desired. The flare vanished, and soon he was his usual calm self, but with a considerate yet stern edge to his voice. This obviously isn't getting us anywhere. Aurelie, I know this meant a lot to you, but we also can't get the original reason for being here. Kerr, ease off. Let's not fight, especially when we'll be working together to get your form back. He softened and leaned in so he was on eye level with me. Aurelie, you can still help, knight or not. It's only a title, right? You've already done so much for us. You're like a knight already. For some reason, that caused me to smile, and I chuckled lightly at his attempt to cheer me up. Yeah, I can still help. I stood up. You can be cool sometimes, Ilmari, and mature. He pouted and folded his arms. I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest one here. Kerr and I exchanged surprised glances since I had definitely pegged Ilmari as the baby of the group. Do we both feel like we can talk in an amicable manner again? I nodded. After a moment's hesitation, Kerr shrugged, but it didn't fight back. Oh, I forgot the letter, although I don't see the point in going back for it now. Maybe I should have listened to the alternatives. It wasn't like I was getting completely rejected. It's my fault for relying too much on my mom's name anyway. At that moment, someone ran up to us, clutching the letter. He carried an air of formality, and I instantly recognized his uniform rank as Captain of the Guard. Uh-oh. I gasped, but quickly regained my composure. Excuse me, but is this your letter? Yes. How did you know? When I asked the receptionist about this, she said the young lady took it rather hard that she didn't get accepted. Although I could not see Ilmari and Kerr's reactions, I had a feeling they promptly agreed with that remark. Did he witness the bench scene from earlier? Being reminded of my rejection was enough to get me on the verge of tears again, but I nodded and tried to regain some of my dignity. Yes, I'm sorry for not knowing about the new regulations, and... He shook his head. I was never a stickler for those changes. I find them too limiting. Why, back in my day... He trailed off and coughed. However, I can't just knight anyone. If you possess the same skill and potential as a student of the Oliver Knight Academy, I could possibly make an exception here. I felt my heart stop as I tried to prevent a squeal of excitement. However, even if you're Lady Bayard's daughter, I'm not going easy on you. You will still need to take a test, and I'm pressed for time. Would you prefer a test of sword skills or a written exam? Sword. He glanced at me in bafflement, but smiled. Just like your mother. I worked under her for years. If she knew about the new guidelines, she'd probably be livid. He gestured to the headquarters. Then, if you're ready... I glanced back at Ilmari and Kerr, resisting the urge to jump. I'll be back soon. Please wait here. Right. Well, that was a serendipitous event. I'm glad things worked out in the end. Are you kidding? Everyone entering and exiting the building saw her embarrassing display. I'm not surprised someone decided to see why there was a girl dissolving into the bench from all her tears. One-tracked mind, that girl. Same as you. I hope she comes back soon, though. She did promise to take me to that glittering shop. What's a cavity, anyway? By the way, Ilmari. That's what I said. Ah, you're right. About earlier, you fought rather competently. That surprised me. Never thought my spells would come in handy that way. I'm glad it worked out. Why did you and Aurelie burst out laughing anyway? I admit it was a rather interesting scare tactic, but I don't think that was intentional. It was nothing. I'm curious. Nothing important. Okay. Hey, you two. Did it work out? I mustered a small smile and rubbed the back of my head. Yeah, maybe not as I'd like, but not all was lost. Basically, he was impressed, but he can't give me a rank without more proof. I'll be helping out at the Argent Valère Guild as a knight in training. I can do quests and little tasks, but I can't be included in any major orders. They said to compare it to the final year at their academy. I didn't exactly get that comment, as I had never been enrolled before, but I guess that meant that I could consider myself close to graduating. Explaining the situation solidified some of my confidence. I even got a little badge! Ilmari clapped while Kerr smiled very briefly. So we can get to the next altar? Yes, Kerr. However, it's getting late, so things will have to be postponed. But I still intend to keep my promise. I'll take you to the altar first thing in the morning, and then I'll show you the marketplace. I'm happy with that arrangement. That works. Oh, and I even got my own lodging, like a real knight. But I can't let unauthorized people in with me. I can find an inn for you both, and... An inn? Where you sleep indoors for a price. Ah, we'd pay then. No, we'll be fine outside. Kerr? I'd rather sleep outside anyway. Right, it's autumn now, but it's still pretty warm. However, please tell me when it's starting to get too cold to remain outside at night, then I can arrange an inn. Not sure where you'll go currently. The gardens seem nice, so you could easily get some sleep there. Just don't get into trouble while I'm not around. Like a mother. Our cultures may be different, but we do have common sense. His gaze briefly flickered to Kerr as if second-guessing himself. I'll be watching over him anyway. What's that supposed to mean? I went to the lodge with the others and pointed to the second floor where I would be staying. It was essentially like an inn. Female knights temporarily staying in Oliver live here. While they remain here, they can do various tasks around the city for money or little rewards. Think of it as training for all the virtues a knight should represent, so they will be honorable and righteous both on the battlefield and while protecting civilians, not citizens. And of course you'll help me. You two will be able to learn everything about Heavenkind without it getting too boring. If I didn't become a knight in training, we'd probably just wander aimlessly hoping for something to do, and I don't think Kerr's master would accept that as a meaningful experience. Makes sense. Is this title really that important? Yes. Kerr opened his mouth to interject, but seemed to have thought better about it. Instead, he rubbed his temple and exhaled loudly. Try to include something more battle-oriented. I don't know if fighting other Heavenkind would count as an ideal experience. Shut up, phone. I see what I can do. For now, let's get to that altar tomorrow and see the marketplace as well. I'm exhausted. So much happened today. Of course. I'll see you in the morning. Thanks. Don't oversleep, Kerr. At least I won't be poked with a stick. As Ilmari headed for the garden, Kerr took a step, then paused before glancing back. Is this one of your reluctantly admitting something confessions again? Shut up, it's not. Fine, it is. It's okay, Kerr. It shows I'm understanding you better. Is it about the fight? Yes, I might have acted harshly with you when you were obviously feeling down. It's okay. I guess my reaction was a little immature. I'm surprised you didn't leave me there. Believe me, the thought crossed my mind, but Ilmari wouldn't have approved. Well, I'm sorry for snapping at you. We do seem to rile each other up. I'll try to be a better friend to you. Friend? Yeah. I mean, we've already been through so much together. I consider both you and Ilmari friends. My words seemed to have startled him. Does he even know what a friend means? I wonder if he's going back to Ilmari and just like, what does this mean? What? He awkwardly mumbled a goodbye and departed. Guess that notion never occurred to him. Well, Orly, you're a knight in training now. Time to start acting like one. Yee! Jumping up, I entered the lodge, eager for the next day and the adventures it would bring. I imagine this is going to be the next chapter, so... Yep. We will, get to... Wait, hang on. What is the actual chapter going to say? Come on, show me. So next time, we will look at Chapter 6, which is Knight in Training. So thank you for watching. I love you. Bye-bye.